Here are some extraordinary facts that would prove the existence of mermaids. Let's get started. On March the 6th, 2013, a team of researchers was exploring the bottom of the Greenland Sea in search of oil. But these people didn't expect to see a bizarre creature appear out of nowhere and show up right in front of them. Watch. When the scientists saw this strange shape that had just put a hand on the window, they kept the camera pointed at it, which allowed them to capture the images that they would later study and analyze very closely to see what it was exactly. But the more they watched the video, the more confused they became. For them, there was no doubt. It was indeed a mermaid whose images later went around the world. 9 years have passed since this fateful encounter, and the shock of these researchers has finally faded to make way for a series of questions and answers in order to find the logical explanation. But since that day, these people are more convinced than ever that mermaids really do exist. In the Philippines, a woman by the name of Jovelyn Balinas, who was at a tourist resort in the city of General Santos, wanted to take a boat ride with her family. But while she was on the boat, she suddenly thought she saw a mermaid coming out of the water. Without waiting a single second, the lady took out her phone and managed to film this alleged mermaid. Of course, once posted online, her video quickly went viral. However, because of this video, Jovelyn Balinas was contradicted by the staff of the tourist complex where she was, as well as by other people in the area, because according to them, there were no mermaids. For them, it could only be a dugong, a species of marine mammal that populates the waters of the region and whose shape resembles that of these mythical beings. So, mermaid or dugong? Despite the claims of others, Jovelyn Balinas firmly believed in what she had seen. This creature was a mermaid, period. But whatever it was, she could never forget what she saw that day. The people you see in this video are vacationers who were at Bluestone National Park in the United Kingdom and wanted to take a boat ride to the island of Scomer, an island located in Wales. But during their boat ride, they noticed a strange shape swimming not far from their boat. Those who bent down or turned their heads in time to see what it was then discovered that the thing was actually a mermaid. This must have made many of them seasick from being so stunned. Well, they must have thought that it was maybe a swimmer disguised as a mermaid, because mermaids only exist in fairy tales. And yet, many of these vacationers remained skeptical because of this vision. Well, they will keep an unforgettable memory of this sea trip. In June 1967, a man was aboard a ferry off Main Island, British Columbia. But while he was enjoying the scenery of this Canadian island, this passenger was struck by the presence of a young woman sitting on a bank who had no legs but a fishtail, a mermaid. We can then imagine this man running towards the other passengers of the boat and asking them if they had seen the same thing as him. And the answer was not long in coming. Indeed, other people told him that they had seen like him this woman with long blonde hair and a fishtail, which ended up plunging him into a total confusion. To top it all off, a picture of the alleged mermaid was quickly circulated in the North American media. There was even a nice reward offered to anyone who could find it. The story became believable, and this poor passenger thought he was going to go crazy with the idea that mermaids really existed. But he must have come to his senses sometime later when he heard that it might not have been a genuine mermaid, but probably a young woman dressed up as a mermaid to attract more tourists. A nice publicity stunt for the region then. That was more logical. But publicity or not, this man has probably never forgotten this beautiful creature. A few years ago in Poland, the author of this video was at the edge of a lake, where he hoped to spend a good moment in the middle of nature. But this person was surprised by the presence of a group of individuals dressed in protective gear who had just fished a body out of the lake. What was even more surprising for him was that the body had a fishtail. Was it a mermaid? Probably yes. Very discreetly then, this person took out his phone and managed to film the moment when the body of this mermaid was placed on a stretcher before being taken away. Later, while watching this strange scene again, our friend was able to notice some details, such as the fact that the said mermaid was perhaps wearing a beard, that there was no vehicle next to it to transport the stretcher. In short, so many details that put him in a real imbroglio. But fortunately, after posting his video, he was no longer the only one thinking about it, because the internet users started to make assumptions in their turn. That is what was going to bring him answers to his many questions, without, however, making him forget what he had seen that day. Of course, how will he ever forget the strange creature? In a natural place in Jamaica, a woman was taking a leisure walk along a river with her friends. While she wanted to film a bit of the place where she was, her attention was suddenly drawn to a human head that had just emerged from the water. Curious and skeptical at the same time because of what she had just seen, the lady continued filming until she was able to capture the moment when the black-haired creature plunged into the water and never reappeared. For this lady, it was a shock. It was undoubtedly a mermaid. Moreover, we can clearly hear her shouting to her friends to see and understand that she fell from the sky when she saw this creature in the water.
Watch a mermaid, a sword,
Well, this lady may have calmed down a bit afterwards, but what she saw made her believe since that day that mermaids do exist. In 2006, a team of scientists from the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration was at sea at a depth of 526 meters, where they came to check an oil tank. But while these NOAA scientists were busy doing their job, a strange shape suddenly appeared in front of their camera. Watch! Of course, this mysterious appearance caused them to watch the entire video and the captured images over and over again, until they came to the conclusion that it might be a mermaid. Very surprising. However, everyone knows that mermaids have long been considered legendary evil beings, so these scientists were certainly scared to death at the thought of having come across this mermaid. Fortunately, they went back to the surface as soon as they could finish their work. Well, this is a mission that NOAA scientists will not soon forget. Look at these fishermen who are reeling in a net full of fish to their boat. You can clearly see that these men are very happy to have made a good catch, that they hope to make more, of course. But they don't expect to see this. Watch. Seeing this hand trying to tear the fishing net to get out, these fishermen then rush to drop their net in the sea out of fear. Now, if they manage to quickly get rid of this creature by releasing it into the water, they soon regret their quick action. And how? They should have seen what it was first before releasing their net. What if it was a mermaid? Because it could well be one. Of course, these men may never know. But at least they can console themselves with having saved their own skin. And why not with having saved this creature as well, whatever it is, by putting it back in the water. However, the doubt will remain forever in their minds. This diver in the Great Barrier Reef was exploring the seabed of this world-famous aquatic area. Of course, he was diving because he wanted to see the different species of fish and corals that inhabit this beautiful aquatic region. But what a surprise when he came face to face with a mermaid! The diver, who was holding a camera in his hand, followed the movements of this half-female, half-fish creature that had just appeared from nowhere, managing to film it as it swam among the other marine species. Not only had he managed to capture images, but he also had proof that mermaids exist in real life. Of course, this brought him face to face with those who do not believe in the existence of these legendary beings. But this man did not care about their comments because he had the chance to experience a real mermaid, a miraculous encounter that changed his life. See those men on the beach? They are Indonesian fishermen who came to fish, naturally, but had the surprise of their lives when they came across a black mermaid that was stranded on the beach. These fishermen were not only stunned by this discovery, but they were even more amazed to find that the poor creature was trapped in a fishing net and was desperately trying to get rid of it so that it could return to the sea, as you can see in this video. Despite the state of confusion in which they found themselves, the fishermen were quick to react to rescue the mermaid, if it was indeed one. In fact, one of them can be seen trying to free it from the fishing net, while another seems to be calling for help from his cell phone. And of course, they don't hesitate to film this particularly strange scene, thus managing to show the whole world that mermaids exist. But contrary to what they believed, this video was the subject of several negative reactions from internet users who denied the authenticity of the scene. Indeed, these last ones believed rather in a setting and scene created by these fishermen in the simple purpose to make the buzz and to deceive the community of the web. But fortunately, these men could count on the support of those who believe in the existence of mermaids, and there are many of them. As for this poor black mermaid washed up on the beach, well, we can say that these fishermen will never forget it, and that they will even keep a sad memory of what they saw that day. And finally, here is Claire, a mermaid who loves children and always wants to meet them and entertain them. Except that this mermaid is not like any others we just saw. She is a young French woman. A real young woman! She dresses up as a mermaid and performs her show in aquariums in different countries by practicing snorkeling. This is how she manages to make the children who look at her with their fascinated eyes believe that she is a real mermaid. On the other hand, this can cause her a little trouble. Well, if one of the kids find out that she's not a real mermaid, which can happen, then Claire might lose her friendship with him. But rest assured, because this incredible young woman, who is herself passionate about the myth of the mermaid, makes friends wherever she goes to do her show. Moreover, thanks to her role that she plays wonderfully since 2011, Claire the mermaid has become very famous in the world. Now, tell us in the comments, have you ever seen a mermaid? Where and when? Don't forget to subscribe and click here to watch another of our videos.